Greetings, Vault Hunters all across the 6 galaxies and right here on the GCX space station. Welcome to the Bordercast. We're coming live to you from space this week for our 100th episode. I'm Mitsu.
And I'm Tessachka, coming to you every week to break down all things Borderlands. Hello, everyone out there in Spaceland. It's very nice to see you.
Indeed, indeed. I'm back from Deutschland, feeling extremely cultured and worldly. And what this translates to Borderlands, I guess, is probably because they visit so many worlds, so I'm doing countries. And I am so refreshed as a result and ready to go on right here with all of you and Tess to talk about all things Borderlands and St. Jude, too.
And Wonderlands later?
Oh, and Wonderlands, but we'll get to that.
As always, we want to take a minute to thank our new listeners on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, those watching live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Steam, later on the VOD on YouTube, anybody watching via the cool space entrance to the show.
Main stage space entrance of Destiny. That's where we're at right now.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out. You're absolutely amazing, and we appreciate you so much. We super appreciate anybody and everybody supporting St. Jude's. It is an incredible, awesome cause that deserves all the support in the world. St. Jude's helps kids in this country, in the US, and also all over the world, and it's incredible. So super grateful for you guys supporting them. Yeah. I know Mitsu's done a ton of charity stuff for them. I've done a ton of charity stuff for them, right?
I mean, that's why I've got this really cool shirt right here. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I've got one in purple and one in green, and I think the one in green perhaps might not be the one to wear while we're doing the show.
Yeah, you of the green screen. That would be a little bit rough. Just a smidge.
Yes, it would. We would love for everybody out there who's enjoying the program across all the areas to give us that big ol' like, follow, or favorite, as that's what we're here to do on GCX today, which is promote St. Jude. Promote St. Jude first, then Borderlands second.
And also Wonderlands, which I'm really excited about. Just saying.
Oh, see, Monday's in the chat right now saying the mug is green screen too. For those of you who don't know, this is my wondrous cosmic mug. You'll see floating eyes going across the screen like that. That is on purpose. I actually do know what I'm doing, despite the fact that it doesn't look like I do.
The mug actually just lives in space. It's like coming to us from the beyond, the void.
Yes. Yeah. And then it just comes at you sometimes. It's like a second pair of eyes. It's wonderful. Oh boy, Wonderlands. Okay, so usually here on the Bordercast, what we do is we start everything with a breakdown of all things Borderlands news. But the only thing everybody wants to talk about right now, at least at first, is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the full new game that was announced last week by Gearbox and 2K. And for those of you who don't know, Tess, what is Tiny Tina's Wonderlands?
So Wonderlands is a brand new full game, hopefully a start of a new franchise. It is a looter shooter, but it's a fantasy world, and it's based on the Tiny Tina DLC for Borderlands 2 that was so beloved by the community. The devs heard everyone clamoring for more of that and how much everybody enjoyed that. I know I did. I know Mitsu did. And they decided that just doing another DLC or anything like that would not be enough to do it justice, that there was so much potential there for fun things, fun new things to do, that they would make a whole new game out of it. And it's a fantasy-focused world, or Wonderland, so worlds maybe? I don't know. And you do get to make your own character in it, which is really cool. And there'll be some spells that you can use and different kinds of weapons, of course, and all of the looter shooter goodness that you are used to from Borderlands will be there as well. So lots and lots of cool things. And if you guys would like to check out a trailer, should I do the thing? Should I do the thing?
I would say it's about time to do the thing.
All right, then. Here you go.
Fate. It soars on the wind. It rises from the grave. It stalks the ocean floor. You cannot hide from fate. but you can make your own.
God, every single time I see that trailer, it just gives me chills. It's so good. It's so good. And I am so excited for it. You guys have no idea. So excited. Tiny Tina, of course, so much fun. And there's so many potential shenanigans in this world because it's basically controlled entirely by her. She's the DM or GM of the super cool kind of D&D-ish Bunkers and Badasses-ish adventure that we're going to be having in Wonderlands. And so the rules are entirely up to her. And the devs have said, Matt Cox, who did a really cool interview a week ago, I feel like it was a week ago, ago, Time, said that basically they can do a lot of really interesting things because of that, because it's all coming from her awesome, crazy brain. And I'm so excited to see what she and the devs come up with.
Yeah,
His outfit has changed also.
Oh, right. I guess I think everybody probably over at the space station who noticed I didn't have a scarf is probably going crazy because now I do in fact have a scarf on. Surprise. I just had to squeeze at least one in there this year because I'm not on and off camera like I have been in previous years when I've been hosting GCX. So what I would do is I would change scarves whenever the camera was off me or whenever I felt like it. So I think in one day I went through like 35 scarves. And I'm still upset that you got to know when to change them. I think we did one where there was we were doing an interview for another game, and every time they would cut to an advertisement real quick because we would have to throw it off when our ear, I would just reach under the table and then just pull out one of my scarves from my bag and just change it every single time. I think in that interview I changed like 5-6 times.
Where did you keep them all? Like 35 scarves is a lot to carry.
I had a I think it was a really big bag from a previous GCX, and I just shoved them in there, and then I brought the bag to the interview and I just changed there, and then the rest of it would just stay in the back. So I would just walk in the back and somebody would see me literally walking out with a different one on. And I'm still upset that in Borderlands they have yet to actually make a weapon manufacturer scarf. And it's like, it makes me very sad because I would love to have a Torg scarf, a Tediore scarf, a Maliwan, especially a Maliwan scarf, honestly. A Hyperion scarf would look really, so a Torg scarf. A Torg scarf would look really good because you have that checker pattern at the fringes, and then in the middle you have the Torg logo, and the Torg logo is like perfully proportioned.
I would want a Tediore one, but I'd be concerned that my head might actually explode from wearing it.
I get. Well, you have to just don't throw it. You have to lay it down gently every time. If you just like casually toss it aside, it's going to explode in your hand.
Yeah, that would be a worry with the Torg one too. Okay, good point.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's fair. That's fair. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, if you wear the Hyperion one, you're really good at conference calls. What? That joke was good. Like 3 people are going to appreciate that joke in chat, but I love you 3 people who get that. This is very obscure. Kind of obscure.
Well, I hope you guys are at least as excited about Wonderlands as we are. I literally can't contain my my hype. But we've got some confirmed actors in the game. Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes, Will Arnett, and Ashley Birch will be playing characters, I'm assuming NPCs, that we get to interact with in the game. I'm sure Ashley Birch is going to be Tiny Tina, of course. And one thing that's super, super cool that Ashley Birch actually revealed when the game was first announced on the Summer Games Fest last week, which it feels like it's already been longer than a week. I don't know why. But anyway, she mentioned that you would get to create your own Vault Hunter, so your own character. Unlike, all of the Borderlands games where we have these amazing, cool characters kind of built for us to play, and then we just get to deck them out with cool skills and cool gear. Here, we'll get to create the character like true RPG form, true D&D, Bunkers and Badasses form, which, by the way, if you haven't heard, tiny segue, but Bunkers and Badasses is a real thing. There's an actual tabletop RPG called Bunkers and Badasses that is being released by Mitsu.
Nerdvana Games, actually. Yes, so Randy Pitchford owns Gearbox, right?
Yeah.
Christy Pitchford, his wife, owns Nerdvana Games.
Oh.
So they've been working hand in hand on this project for years and years and years. It was my understanding, actually, that Christy really, really looked forward to making this happen because she's been really big into tabletop games now, too.
That's so awesome.
And this has actually been a very popular question that's come up because some people asked about it. Anthony Birch wrote it.
Wow. Oh, that's right. That's right. I think I remember hearing about this. Yeah, that's so cool. That's so, so cool. And I'm so excited because I actually play in several tabletop RPG shows on Twitch. I'm on one on Mondays over at the Wandering Inn doing a Vampire the Masquerade tabletop every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then actually later today, I'll be over on Table Story doing Rime of the Frost Maiden, which is a traditional D&D campaign. And I love doing them so much. It's just like an incredible new creative format that I think has come about on Twitch over recent years. And I'm so excited to see it. And I'm so excited for there to be Bunkers and Badasses shows done by all of the amazing creative DMs and players out there. So psyched to see what other people do with it. So psyched to hopefully play and maybe DM. I don't know if I'm that brave, but maybe. But just excited for that to exist. A real Borderlands, Tiny Tina-esque D&D type tabletop RPG. How incredibly awesome is that? And of course, Wonderlands. When they announced Bunkers and Badasses, I was literally jumping up and down. And then now we have Wonderlands, which is the video game version. We get to make our characters. We're going to have crazy abilities and spells in theory. And that's going to be so fun. Fantasy and Borderlands, the Wonderlands. So psyched.
So I know you mentioned these actors, right? Andy Samberg, he's funny as hell. So I'm wondering what kind of roles these people will actually portray. Wanda Sykes is in it, which she has been doing comedy forever, so she'll fit right in. Will Arnett and his wonderfully masterful gravelly voice is going to make an excellent, like, dry, sarcastic dungeon master, which will be really, really good in contrast to all of Tina's narration. So I'm really excited to see how they kind of like play off of each other. And I know I didn't put this in confirmed actors, but it was in the trailer. It's just worth pointing out again that Butt Stallion's in the game.
Yeah.
Butt Stallion is in the game.
Yeah. Oh my God. I wonder what like magical abilities Butt Stallion will have. Like crazy thing. Anything is possible, right? I mean, it's literally all from the mind of Tina, who is wonderful and totally insane. Anything is possible, and it's going to be a blast. I'm so excited.
And it's right away too. Like it sounds like it's just going to be this whole new environment with a whole new set of ways to play Borderlands that we've just never experienced before. And I'm kind of excited. I wish we had more information than literally that, but it's all such pure speculation right now. It's like, what will they do with the Talon trees? Will there even be Talon trees? What will characters look like? How will you create them? Because one of the things that they kind of mentioned is that this is more fully controlled by you, the player. Yeah. You're going to be able to create your own character. So how does that work in relation to what Vault Hunters were like? Because you understood what they were, right? You played the operative, you played the this, the that. So it's like, what else is out there? How do you build your character? Is it you have to choose when you start? Like, I don't know. So it's interesting.
I don't know. I have this assumption in my head that it'll be D&D like, but that gives you so much variety to play with, and I don't know if I'm right about that or wrong about that. It's speculation at this point, so who knows? But the possibilities are literally endless, and I just wanted to be here. Like, can somebody just, I don't know, put me under until it's out in early 2022. Early next year is, we don't have an exact date, but early next year is when it comes out. I just wanted to be here now, please. I know good things take time, but I'm so excited. In the meantime, we do have a lot of really cool Borderlands stuff still coming, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Oh yeah, I mean, why not get into it right now, all things considered, because there is something out there that some of the folks in the GCX community might not know about that I definitely wanted to share with everybody. There's a game out there. You might have heard of it. It's called Tales from the Borderlands. It is one of the best games in the Borderlands franchise, solely on the back of the story that it tells, and how it conveys it, which is why I'm so sad that Telltale Games went under, because maybe we would have had it too, but doesn't seem like that's happening for any time soon, but we don't know. Boy, I would like to cross my fingers on that one. Anyway, Tales from the Borderlands was so good that Gearbox and 2K decided to bring it to the Switch. So it is now on the Switch. If you love that story-based adventure that you can go on in the Borderlands universe, this is a good place to go and get it. Tess here is far more well-versed in, it's this way for me, it's probably the other way from you. Well-versed in Tales from the Borderlands, so I'll let her sell you on that one real quick, because you should play it if you are a fan of Borderlands.
You should definitely play it. It's funny because it doesn't play like a traditional Borderlands game. Obviously, there is gunplay, but it's not like the same. It's not a first-person experience. It's more of a QTE. I can't speak English today. QTE-based game, in where you like choose dialogue interactions, and you choose like QuickTime events and things like that to make happen. And it's much more story-based. If you've never played a Telltale game, this is actually a really good one to start with, especially if you're a Borderlands fan, because the world is very familiar and the art style is exactly right. And there are some, new characters and some familiar things. And of course, it all takes place on Pandora, and it's beautiful, and it's a brand new adventure. And the story is so good. It's just so well done. I mean, Telltale is known for storytelling for a reason, but this one really is just, I think, one of their shining stars, because it's such a good time. You really fall in love with the characters. I don't want to tell you guys too much because you should go play it, but the humor also is absolutely there, like the traditional Borderlands humor. So good. It's so good. There's all kinds of fun characters that some of them actually make it into Borderlands 3. I wish there were more of them. I hope someday there may be more in the future, please. But yeah, they're awesome. And it's just super worth playing through. And you can get it now, again, on Steam. You can buy it on PlayStation. You can buy it on Xbox, I believe. You could buy it on all the platforms. And of course, Nintendo Switch. So if you're traveling, if you're lucky enough to be vaccinated and have a cool place to go, like Mitsu did recently, you can take your Switch with you and play through Tales. Or you could just play on the couch and be comfy. That works too.
You never know. Maybe your friends could all vote on what you're going to choose as your next selection for progressing the story.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I might think about that one. Borderlands 3 is now available as part of PlayStation Now until September 29th. If you have a PlayStation 4 or 5 and a PS Now subscription, or I guess both, really doesn't matter, there's really no reason not to pick it up. It's very good. For those of you who are lucky enough to have a PlayStation 5, I am not. My wife is, but I am not. But I've heard from many folks that the haptic feedback is absolutely incredible.
So this just happened like an hour before Bordercast, and I completely forgot in the midst of everything. But yeah.
What?
Yeah. So.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That's not a bit, by the way.
Yeah.
I really did not know
I forgot. It flew out of my head. I was going to tell you, but I forgot. And actually, it wasn't even me. It was my much better, wiser, quicker, more awesome half. Rob actually managed to snag one. And because we've been like, I was at first, when they were coming out, I was one of those people that's like, I'll just wait patiently until there's lots available. It'll be fine. I have an amazing computer from AMD. I don't, need to worry about it. I let the people that really want it right away get it right away. And then some time passed, and some more time passed, and it became obvious that it was going to remain impossible to get it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to be patient. But I really want to play. There's a couple of games that are exclusive to it that I really want to play, and like Demon Souls. And yeah, so like in the last few weeks or so, month or so, I've been like, okay, we're gonna try. I've got to figure out a way. And so Rob's been like following the people on Twitter, and today, while I was out running in the woods, he managed to snag one. And I came home from like the most incredible, beautiful run that I haven't really been able to do over COVID, but now I can because I'm vaccinated. And I came home on the highest high from that run, and he's like, guess what? And I was like, what? And I was so excited. So PlayStation people, come hang out with me, play Borderlands. Great. I'm definitely going to have Borderlands on the PlayStation 2, although I don't know if I'll play, well, I'll probably play, because crossplay for all platforms except PlayStation for now. But hopefully eventually we'll see. We'll see.
Just a matter of working out the deal, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Cool news.
36 people out there left in the entire world. I was going to say 37, but then Liz was going to point out the fact that I say that all the time. 36 people who are left in the world who do not know about this. You're about to right now. There is a Borderlands movie coming out. We don't know when, but I do know some of my stuff through our wonderful associate producer here on the show, Mental Mars. He has been providing me with all of the knowledge possible as I've been away, which has been infinitely helpful because I literally just came back yesterday, so writing the show was kind of a rush job. But he was instrumental in getting me some cool news. Benjamin Byron Davis, or as we know him in our little corner of the universe, Marcus, that's my awful Marcus impression, is wrapping up his filming. So whatever he needed to get done over the course of however long they've been shooting is done now. He gets to go home from I believe they're filming in Hungary, I think. So I have no idea how things have been like there. I hope better. I would hope they're taking like all the COVID precautions ever, but
I'm sure
hopefully, yeah. Like I honestly don't know, but you know what? Regardless, he gets to go home, so I'm sure he's very happy. And then Florian Montanu, who's playing Krieg, he is apparently wrapping up filming sometime this week, and so is Ariana Greenblatt, who plays Tiny Tina in this game, or in this movie, I should say, because it's, oh my god, just some of the stuff that has like come out about what the cast has been like, because they've taken a lot of like out of costume shots and things like that. It feels like they're like this family now. Like everything that we've read about and seen through all the pictures that they've taken has been just so uplifting and amazing to see, because it's very clear that whatever they've been through, they're like this close-knit unit now. Although I will say this much, and this is a frustrating effect, we still don't know what anybody looks like or what anything looks like.
Yeah, they released the silhouettes of what they look like, but I mean, they just look like characters in the video game because it's literally just the silhouette. Those are really cool images to be able to see, but not the same thing as seeing the actual costumes. And I know that Mental Mars, and if you want to check these out, I recommend you go to mentalmars.com. He put together some really incredible sort of visuals of how we all would imagine they'll look like. Really, really incredible stuff. Just go to his website, you'll find them. But we don't really know what the actual costumes look like. We don't know what the sets look like. We don't know what any of it is like. But it does look like the cast is having a blast shooting, filming. And I mean, I'm sure that Byron Davis will be happy to go home, but at the same time, probably a little bit sad because probably having a really good time out there. So yeah, Ariana Greenblatt. I'm sorry, my brain.
I've done it before too.
Yeah, Ariana Greenblatt has been amazing and been posting all kinds of fun things on Twitter, and she's such a ball of fun and awesome that I think she's so perfect for Tina, and I'm excited to see her actually bring her to life on film. That's going to be amazing.
It seems like she gets it. When Wonderlands actually was announced, she was like on Twitter and snuck in and said like I forget exactly what she said, but it was like perfect Tina tweet. It was so good. So these are the little things that make me feel like so reinforced about the fact that they're going to get this movie. Like even looking at those silhouettes, I really hope that we're not getting like pulled a fast one and that those actually are them in costume because it looks like the game.
Yeah.
Like the silhouettes look like how everybody would look in the game. Everybody does.
Yeah,
like it's clear like Roland's wearing a beret, like Lilith has got the stance right, like all these little technical details that you wouldn't normally notice you can in the silhouette, and it's like, oh boy, what's that?
Tannis looks like Tannis, but she also kind of looks like Jamie Lee Curtis a little bit, even though it's just a silhouette. I don't know. I think it's how I imagine her, so maybe it's easier for me to associate. I don't know, but I just want to see more. I want them to release like stills from the movie. I hope they do that at some point. I'm sure these things are not ready yet, but I hope if like in the lead up, nothing too revealing because I want to be surprised by like the actual plot and all that stuff. But I would love to see some stills from the movie with people in costume, like maybe closer to release date, because that would be so cool.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. But it's it's a big movie studio. They sometimes have very slow plotting marketing strategies, so it's going to be frustratingly slow for a while. And it's really odd because it wasn't Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm sorry, it wasn't like Lionsgate that tweeted them out first, right? It was like Jamie Lee Curtis tweeted them out.
Yeah, well, the Borderlands film Twitter didn't go live right away. It went like,
Yes.
I think they were still keeping things kind of like under the vest a little bit. And then so Jamie Lee Curtis started tweeting, and then Ariana Greenblatt started tweeting. I don't know why I said the other name. I'm so sorry. My brain sometimes, it just has a mind of its own. But yeah, so they all started tweeting and posting on their Instagrams and things like that. And then the Borderlands film Twitter, which if you want to go follow it, it's just at Borderlands Film. You can, hear about news and get these cool images and things like that to pop up on your Twitter for yourself. But yeah, that went live, I want to say like a month ago. Was it a month ago? Time? I don't know.
Wibbledy wobbledy timey-wimey.
Yeah, something like that. But they've been posting some fun stuff, so I'm sure they'll probably post more as it gets closer and closer to the day. But honestly, go follow Ariana Greenblatt because she's hilarious and awesome, and she posts fun things related to Borderlands. So yeah. She's just awesome. Just go follow her.
Here's my one fun question before we move on. I wonder if they're going to do like the cell shaded inked style, or if they're going to go for a little bit more of a realistic Borderlands style, because you could go either way. Yeah. You could do, I mean, that's how many hours of makeup is that probably in the chair? You probably do what, 5 hours for each person every day if you do that kind of style. That's intense.
I don't know. I mean, the cosplayers and how complicated their stuff is, I don't know, because it's really hard to say, because I don't know if they can like do that in like post-production to a degree.
I guess they would have to, right? Like,
I don't know.
Because you have to do that with everything.
I don't know. I mean, I've done a cosplay of Maya because she's my favorite character ever in the world. And for me, I sort of had the clothes, and then I just did like a little bit of face makeup just to kind of have the art style, kind of the spirit of the art style on my face. And it's definitely nothing even close to what truly experienced pro cosplayers do. I'm just a baby cosplayer. That was my first and only real cosplay, so I'm sure I'll do more eventually. I'm just learning still. But anyway, what they do is so incredible. I mean, they draw on the clothes themselves. They can cell shade the clothes, basically. Cell shade. They can hand ink the clothes to make it look like they fit into the universe. And I'm sure that the costume department can do that with the clothes and stuff like that for the Borderlands movie. The stuff that, the hand inked style for people's faces and makeup, I mean, they could do anything. It's movie magic, right? They could do it with makeup, or they could do it with CGI later. I don't know. I have no idea. But
I'm trying to think how that would work. I don't know. I've never been on a film set. I don't understand movie making magic. Like, I'm not a programmer. I'm not a game designer. I don't know anything about this. So I will not speculate, because I would be like, originally, for those of you who don't know, we were going to have 55, Liz, my co-host in crime from GCX's past, here on the program today too. But unfortunately, she was unable to make it as she's working on her move between her previous home and back to LA. I'm a little sad about that, but it is what it is. She's a more experienced actress. She's actually done movies before. Yeah. So I wish she was here. That would actually be a great question for her.
Well, we'll definitely do another. I mean, we do Bordercast every week, actually, on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/Borderlands. And
Ding.
we'll absolutely do an episode including her in the near future when she's free. Hopefully settled in a little bit more and free. So you will see her again on the Bordercast, hopefully. 'Cause I miss her. and
Very
I
soon.
love her. Yeah. Yeah, so that'll be cool.
You talked about this earlier. Crossplay is coming.
Yes, crossplay. A lot of people have asked about this, like every single day since the Borderlands 3 was announced. And it is something that Gearbox has said will happen. Randy has said will happen, and it is actually now happening. Now Randy has said that right now it's just going to be all the platforms except for PlayStation, Sony right now. Hopefully in the future, it's still a possibility that it'll work out and we, PlayStation can be included as well. I definitely hope that works out in the future because we want to do crossplay with everybody. I want to play with everybody. I know we all do. So hopefully in the future, PlayStation gets included, but for now, it's just all the other platforms. So Stadia, Epic, Steam, Xbox, all the things, which is really cool.
I was about to say, I just want to point out that it sounds like you're taking a big part away when you just think of one or two, right? But realistically, that crossplay goes between Xbox, EC, Steam, Epic, and Stadia. Yeah, I said Stadia. Like, that's actually 5 platforms, and Sony's the only odd man out in that one. So you never know. You might have somebody. You might actually play with somebody on Stadia because, like, maybe they don't have the best computer, but they're going to do the streaming service thing. Like, you can do that now if you want to. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know Mitsu and I have both actually played on Stadia, and it's quite good. I was really impressed. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is, especially because we both have dedicated computers to play, right? And we're so used to the quality of that, and I was definitely expecting it to not be as good of an experience, but it actually was just as good and really, really, really solid. As long as your internet connection is half decent, I think it can play really well, which is really awesome. So yeah.
Let's see. Maurice's vending machine has moved once more. So GCX is founded out of another game, which many of us know very, very well and also love dearly too. For those of you who maybe played Borderlands 3 and are unfamiliar with this new concept, but you know of this other game, there's something in that game, a certain person who goes around and hides on different planets every week in a different location, and you can show up and buy things off of him. Maurice's vending machine is pretty much the very similar premise of that. Somewhere, Marcus has hidden a super cool vending machine that sells legendary weapons. Now you can show up to him every week, or rather the machine, and buy those legendary weapons off of him. So there is an opportunity for you there to maybe start farming, or not maybe necessarily farming, but if you're lucky, you go there and get exactly the gun that you like. And if it has an anointment you don't like, for those of you who did not play for a while, say you played on release and you just put it down for a while, now there's an Iridium re-roller for your anointments. So you can actually pay Iridium in the game to re-roll your anointments on any gun that has one. So if you buy something and it's not what you're looking for, now you can spend Iridium to make it what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's a really good Iridium sync. Maybe a little too good because I've spent all of my Iridium doing that on multiple characters on multiple platforms. But it's a good thing because sometimes that one specific anointment that you really want is hard to get, So it just sort of depends. Are you time rich or are you Iridium rich? Or what are you in the mood to farm? The thing itself or Iridium? Because there are definitely good places to farm one versus the other. So really, really cool.
And it's funny that you mention Iridium. You could be time rich and Iridium rich if you decide to partake in Revenge of the Cartels, which is not any longer, I should say, a soon TM, but a soon. We got a date for when Revenge of the Cartels returns, June 24th. For those of you who have not played Revenge of the Cartels, it is probably the single best event I have ever played in any video game ever. And no, I am not actually exaggerating or bloviating when I say that. I will explain why very quickly. If you like the 80s, if you like 80s theme music, if you love neon, if you love Scarface references, this is the event for you, because it is all of that and more. And it only comes around once a year. It is not something that occurs all the time. So if you are curious as to what it is free for every player of Borderlands 3, and it will be starting June 24th. I cannot wait.
Yeah, that's only 6 days away. Oh my God. That's really, really, really cool to hear. And actually, so this is the second year of the event, right? The second year.
Yeah, it's been going as long as the game has, and this is, I believe, its second year now. So yeah,
my brain and time completely are not working. But yeah,
2020 didn't happen. So
yeah. Second year. Anyway, the event is now called the Revengeance of the Revenge of the Cartels. So what does that mean? We don't actually know, but we suspect and speculate that maybe the devs did something to it. We'll see. I don't know what that means. Maybe it doesn't mean anything, but I feel like altering the name a little bit means that there's some kind of changes in there. And it's a really, really cool event also because so when you go in, actually, at least the way it was originally, the enemies change. You get different types of enemies every time, and sometimes different bosses, or like in a different
different mini bosses.
Yeah. And so, and you can get a bunch of really, really, really amazing guns. Hello, OPQ, and Yellow Cake, and the Pew Pew, and a few other really good things. And it's just a good, fun event. It almost feels like a takedown without being a takedown.
That's what it's generally compared to most of the time. If Joey Ultraviolet was a little bit harder, he would probably be Joey Ultraviolet the Invincible. And there are so many cool mechanics and things to dodge and like fire at and during this boss fight. Like, it's a really, really well designed boss fight. It's probably my second favorite in the game now. Yeah, has been for a long time.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it to come back. 6 days next Thursday.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. If you are looking to stock up on Iridium, I mean, he's got piles of it, if you will.
Yeah.
Some of them are mashed up piles, but I think you can shoot some of them and actual bars of Iridium will pop out. So this is, I mean, a lot of you who might not have played, there's also a new DLC called the Director's Cut that came out. And for those of you who played and loved 2 and haven't picked up 3 in some time, in the Director's Cut, there is Hemovorus the Invincible, which on higher Mayhem levels spawns with Terramorphous the Invincible. And much like in Borderlands 2, you have to spend Iridium to summon both bosses. So now a lot of player complaint was that Iridium was useless. Now you can use it to reroll your your anointment on your weapons and your shields and your grenades, right? Now you can use it to summon Terramorphous and Hemovorus. Now you can use it in the Iridium Fabricator. You can, spend instead of 5 Iridium, like 250 Iridium, and it just shoots out legendaries.
Yeah. So it costs more Iridium to get a better weapon, basically, or a potentially better weapon, which is really, really cool.
But it exists, and they're great dumps. It's what it needs, you know?
Yeah. And that Hemovorus fight is insane. I super recommend checking it out if you haven't. There's also a ton of behind the scenes content in the Director's Cut, which if you've ever been curious about the behind the scenes of making a video game, if you've ever wanted to see some of the things that don't necessarily make it to the final version of the game, but that in the hearts and minds of the devs are like canon story-wise, if you want to kind of see some of the early mock-ups and storyboards and things like that, all of that is actually in there. There's so much, and it's really, 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 really good. So definitely recommend checking that out too. It's on the main menu if you bought it, just in case you're curious. It's on the main menu for all of the sort of bonus things, special things. Definitely worth your time.
All the cool things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on when it comes to Borderlands 3 that I think a lot of people might still not be aware of, and hopefully those of you out there in the satellite right now and watching throughout the GCX community are like, maybe I need to give this Borderlands game another try because this is stuff that I need to know about. Which, speaking of, Randy put out a tweet. It's a very cryptic one, but it stated that there would be support for Borderlands 3 that would continue for some time, but he didn't necessarily elaborate on what that support looks like. So now everybody's in like high speculation mode again that maybe there's a new event coming up. Maybe Revengeance of the Revenge of the Cartels is going to become standard for events. Maybe they're working on a new DLC. Nobody knows, but like it's very clear everybody's excited and wants to find out. So
Stay tuned.
yeah, big time. That feels like a stay tuned kind of tweet. But that, I think that was a big concern that a lot of the community has had. It's like, what is, now that Wonderlands has come out, which we're all excited for, what about Borderlands 3? Because it's still kind of early in its life cycle. Is there going to be any more support for it? So that's kind of where that question came from. And now here we are, and we're kind of finding out, it's going to continue in the forms that it does.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff, Revengeance and etc. And hopefully we learn more over the next few weeks and we can share it with you. But yeah, very, very cool to see what's next for Borderlands as well.
Yes. So there's a whole lot going on with that. Speaking of things going on with Borderlands, True Trials. I guess we should back up and explain that real quick for those of you who might not know yet, who are not initiated. There's been a mini event going on for the past couple weeks called the True Trials event. So in Borderlands 3, there are these areas called the Trials. There's the trial of supremacy, the trial of fervor, the trial of, there's 6 of them, right? And in these trials, you do certain things. You have about 18 minutes, 20 minutes to clear them, depending on how long they tend to be. And there's always a boss at the end. Now, what they're doing with True Trials is they're ramping up the difficulty of the last boss and some of the mobs, I believe, as you're going through it. They're removing the time restraint on it completely. But if you beat it, you're guaranteed to get legendary items in the chest at the end, which was a complaint of some players. Why did we go through doing all of these objectives if we weren't going to get good loot at the end? Well, now you are guaranteed in the Trial of Supremacy this week to get 2 different guns in the chest at the end. One of them is one of my personal favorite guns. And Tess, I think you've used this one before, the Monarch.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really good gun. It was like kind of one of the more reliable guns for challenging bosses. Like the really, really big bosses and I mean, a lot of Borderlands bosses are just these massive beings, but sometimes they're big and they're far away from you, and you really, really, really want to be putting out like massive damage that goes the distance. And so the Monarch is definitely a good game for that. The True Trial of Supremacy, by the way, takes place in Desolation's Edge on Necro Tefeo, which is one of the most beautiful locations, in my opinion, in Borderlands 3. I love all of the Borderlands in Borderlands 3. I love them a lot. Visually, the game is unbelievable. I'm an eye candy video game junkie, and it feeds my soul, and it's great. Necro Tefeo is definitely one of the most beautiful locations. So, of course, I'm excited that this last trial is there. And then the other gun that you can get is actually from one of the DLCs from the director's cut. It's called the Atlas Replay, which I actually don't think I've used.
I've used it. It's not the most impressive gun. I'm not going to say it's the worst gun in the world. There are probably some that are better, but a few characters can get actual use out of it. So it's worth farming. But again, I will say this much. If you're going to be doing the Trial of Supremacy here, the hot gun that you're going to be looking for is the Monarch, because for those of you who maybe played on release, the Monarch was not in the game, and you might know of the gun, the Dictator. And this is like the Dictator turned up to 11.
Yeah.
Get it? The Monarch, the Dictator. It's pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was a good name.
It is pretty good. And it's a good gun, really. Like it's worth going to get it for sure.
Yeah. We have in the Borderlands community wonderful community members. One of them is known as Triple G, and Triple G came up with an idea for something called Endgame Rush, where the idea was to beat some of the endgame objectives as fast as you possibly could. Maliwan takedown, Guardian takedown, this boss, that boss, a few other things done. Now that we have Hemovorus and Vermivorus in the game again, and some other endgame activities, including probably the Seer, which we won't spoil who that is. Now there's more endgame activities, which means it's time for season 2. But Triple G is bringing back that event and more rules to follow when he releases it. But he wanted everybody to be aware. We want everybody to be aware too. So I figured I'd squeeze that one in. Oh boy. What else? We talked about bunkers and badasses. Tiny Tina has merch. This is crazy. So before Tiny Tina's Wonderlands comes out, they have released an entire merch selection and paired with Funko Pop, among other things, to produce some really cool looking Tiny Tina stuff, which seems to be a work in progress that is to come. But I am excited based on some of the stills that we've seen of what it looks like. And that's going to be really big when we finally get to dive into that store. Because it's funny, they're putting out a store already, which means there has already been people screaming for licensed stuff.
Hi.
That was done really quick.
Please.
Sorry. Yes. Right, here's one right here. That's my apologies. I forgot.
I love the Borderlands art style. I love everything Borderlands, obviously. I have a little Maya figurine sitting right there. She's super cute. And it's the Maya Ducky. But I want Wonderlands merch. I mean, the art for Wonderlands, if you guys haven't seen it yet, it was in that trailer we played earlier. You can also just go to Play Wonderlands on Twitter and check out some of the screenshots and things they've put out already. The art is incredible, and any merch based on this is going to be amazing, and I want it, and I need it in my life. It's going to be so good.
That is the true. So, finally having gotten through all the news, we're not just here to talk about Borderlands today. One of the things that Tess and I insisted on being able to talk about when we were doing this show is a little bit about our work with St. Jude and why you out there should definitely support the children of St. Jude. On a personal note, I've hosted GCX for many years. I go all the way back to the first Destiny Community Con when we were in a box and I basically moderated the main panel, which at that time was King Gathalion, T-Rex, Professor Broman, Laced Up Lauren, and Real Crafty. And of those, I only knew King Gathalion and Professor Broman, and in a lesser extent, T-Rex. Like, we hadn't really interacted and stuff like that. So I got to meet a whole bunch of new people in the community who have gone on to be amazing pals, especially Gathalion, who I miss. I wish he was on the show because this is our 100th episode, and he was on the first one.
Oh, yeah,
so
right.
It would have been a nice full circle thing, but the man is probably extremely busy right now with all of his responsibilities. So that being said, I've been to St. Jude a few times. I have had the genuine honor of being able to walk around the hospital, of playing video games with the kids, of getting to see where the families get to stay. The apartments that they put them up with are completely for free, and that's where your money goes. They stay there. They get a grocery stipend. It's a very comfortable place. It's a place of healing. It really does help to have your family there supporting you while you're going through this entire process.
Yep.
So
they do
if that doesn't sell you on it, like,
they do everything humanly possible to make sure that families with children with terminal or life-threatening or cancer or any of these illnesses can focus on getting their child well and taking the best possible care of their child, and they don't have any other concerns. That's all they want to do is their mission statement is to eliminate childhood cancers. And in the time since St. Jude's has existed, they've gotten it down so much. I think the survivability of childhood cancer, 20 years ago was so much lower, and now I think it's something like 89%, which I remember
like 98%.
98%.
I think it was a specific type of lymphoma, and I feel really bad because that's originally what St. Jude started for. It was originally a very specific form of it was either lymphoma or leukemia. It might have been leukemia now that I'm thinking about it, and the average survival rate might have been like 10%. It was very extremely low.
God.
And now it's like 97, 98%. It's the turnaround is insane. And that's where all of your money goes to when you are donating to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So please do.
Yep. You can do so at gcxevent.com/donate. One of the wonderful mods just put it in chat. So please, any amount helps, by the way. $1 helps, $5 helps. Anything beyond that is absolutely incredible. And we're super grateful to you guys for supporting this amazing cause. We're lucky that we get to play video games and talk about video games and help support this cause. Thank you for doing that with us. It really means a lot.
And dude, my producers are telling me that we are up against a very hard wall. So unfortunately, as much as I love talking with all of you today, and I'm sure Tess did too, we're going to have to cut this one off short. Real quick before we go out, Season Pass 2 is out now. The director's cut is here. Tess, where can the people find you real quick?
Over on the Borderlands channel, I stream, of course, Borderlands 3, and on my own channel at twitch.tv/Tessachka. It's just Tessa, CHKA, and Twitter and Instagram at Tess Games. What about you, Mitsu?
Twitch.tv/Mitsu, Twitter.com/Mitsu Show, where you can see me tweet about how much E3 was a roller coaster this year. It was a very emotional one. And then I will also be right here. Or actually, I think it's right here on the official Rare Drop channel tomorrow night as part of the Rare Drop After Dark D&D campaign, where I'll be taking part of a 2-shot, because I believe, or it might even be a 3-shot. I think they did it last night. I know they're doing it tonight, and they are doing it tomorrow night as well. And yes, nice. I will be involved in Captain Robear's shenanigans. I think along with this year's host, Sam, who we're going to throw to in a few seconds. So hopefully you're standing by, Sam. But before that happens, Tess, what do the people need to know?
You guys, we're live with the Bordercast every Thursday, usually at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, over on twitch.tv/Borderlands. And we super appreciate you guys joining us here for this show, supporting St. Jude's. We super appreciate you guys following us on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, YouTube Music, Stitcher, Twitch, Steam, Facebook, all the places. Thank you so much for hanging out and supporting St. Jude's. We appreciate it.
Yes, we do. So on behalf of Tess, myself, everybody at the Borderlands content crew team, thank you so much for joining us as you do every single week. And a huge shout out to everybody at GCX. Now go forth on that satellite and make some mayhem.